Now, the greatest radio shows of all time.
Suspense.
The Shadow Node.
Washington calling David Harding, counter-spy.
Classic radio theater.
The Great Gildersleeve. Fibber McGee and Molly.
Dragnet. Gunsmoke.
The Lone Ranger.
Now, step back into a time machine with your host, Wyatt Cox.
Good evening, friends of the Inner Sanctum.
We go back to June 10th, 1954. Wonderful Western adventure. Jimmy Stewart stars as Britt Ponsett, the six-shooter, in an episode entitled The New Sheriff.
James Stewart as the six-shooter. The man in the saddle is angular and long-legged. His skin is sun-dyed brown. The gun in his holster is gray steel and rainbow mother of pearl. Its handle unmarked. People call them both the six-shooter. The NBC Radio Network presents James Stewart as the six-shooter, a transcribed series of radio dramas based on the life of Britt Ponsett, the Texas plainsman who wandered through the Western Territories, leaving behind a trail of still-remembered legends.
Well, at first I didn't know what I was getting into. The town of Virtue City had never looked like this before. Banner over the main street, posters stuck in the store windows, bunting draped across most of the buildings. It was the wrong time of the year for the county fair. I pulled up the Mansion Hotel and headed into the lobby.
Yes, sir?
I'd like a room for the night.
Well, I guess we can fix you up, mister, if you'll just sign the book.
Sure. Oh, by golly, I'm
Never mind. I'll blot it up. You just stand back out of the way. I put a new point in that pen this morning, but I guess some people, well...
I sure am sorry about that.
Yeah. Well, that'll be 50 cents in advance, Mr. Ponsett?
That's right. Here you go.
You're really Britt Ponsett?
Well, if he ain't, he's sure been fooling a lot of folks for quite a spell. How are you, Britt?
Well, Doc Cross. Where'd you come from?
I've been sitting there behind that geranium plant. I thought I recognized you when you come in.
Oh, I'll be darned.
Well, here's your key, Mr. Ponsett, number 12.
Oh, thanks.
About that ink blot, I know it wasn't your fault. They just don't make pen points the way they used to. Inferior workmanship.
Sure.
You in a hurry to go upstairs, Britt?
No, not especially.
Well, come on over to the window and sit for a spell. We can sort of keep our eye on the street and see what's going on.
All right, Doc.
Well, you been up to, Britt?
Oh, same as usual. I was riding herd over to Smoke Falls for the last 6-7 weeks. Probably go back there in the spring.
Uh-huh. Here, just let me get my instrument bag out of the way. Yeah, there's a place for you.
You treating somebody in the hotel?
No, not exactly. I sort of make my headquarters here in the hotel nowadays.
Well, what happened to your regular office?
Oh, I still got it. But, hotel's handier. What with all this fighting and shooting going on so much of the time.
Shooting?
You ain't heard the news, huh, Britt?
No, guess I haven't.
Well, you see, Gus Cotton moved into Virtue City a couple of months ago.
Gus Cotton?
You know who Gus is, Britt, that gunfighter. Used to be part of the McGinnis gang over at Willow Fork.
Oh, sure, yeah, I've heard of him.
Well, it seems Gus and Tracer McGinnis had sort of a falling out. Gus decided it'd be healthier for him and his kid brother Roy to change residence, so they come over here. And by now, they've just about taken over the whole town.
Oh, I just can't believe that Sheriff Davenport would let a thing like that happen, Doc.
George Davenport was killed last August, Britt.
He was killed? No.
I reckon it was an accident. At least that's what the inquest said.
Well, who's taking his place?
There ain't been nobody so far. New sheriff will be elected tomorrow, along with the mayor and the usual town officers.
Oh, I see. So that's why the place all fixed up, huh? Election day,
yeah.
Huh? I was kind of wondering about that.
Yeah, it's been a real hot campaign, too. Sheriff part of it, that is. I ain't had so much medical business since the Apaches was moved on to the reservation.
Yeah, well, who's running?
Ernie Needle. He's one of the candidates. You remember Ernie, Britt, the blacksmith?
Oh, sure. And there's a good man, too. He'd make a good sheriff, I imagine.
Yeah, if he wins. Roy Cotton's running against him, Gus's brother.
Oh, I see.
Of course, in a fair election, Ernie'd win hands down, but Gus Cotton's doing his best to see that it won't be fair.
He is, huh?
Yeah. Half the voters in town have been bought off. The ones who won't be bought, well, they've been threatened. Why, if anybody even... Britt, maybe you can give us a hand.
Huh?
I'm sort of chairman of the group that's backing Ernie Needle, the Citizens Committee to Keep Virtue in Virtue City. That's what we call ourselves.
I see.
Now, Britt, if you could join up with us...
Now, hold on, Doc. Now, I'm not a voter in this town. I'm not even a resident.
I know, but you've got influence. Lots of influence. And if you...
well, Doc,
Well, you have lots of influence, Britt. And look, if you was to come to our rally at the schoolhouse tonight and sort of sit up there on the platform next to Ernie Needle, well, that might win him some of Roy Cotton's votes.
No, I'm sorry, Doc. Now, this just isn't any of my business. Now, you know that as well as I do.
Now, Britt...
No, so long, Doc. Well, I went upstairs in my room. Number 12 was on the north side, facing Ernie Needle's blacksmith shop. And looks like Ernie had closed up for the day. He's probably out politicking somewhere. The room seemed kind of stuffy, so I opened up the window. It sure was warm. Sounded like some more business was heading Doc's way. I leaned out, but I couldn't see anything. The shooting must have been around in front. Oh, well... Yeah? Yeah, come on in.
Howdy.
Howdy.
You're Britt Ponsett.
That's right.
I'm Roy Cotton.
Oh?
Understand you were having a little chat with Doc Cross just now.
Uh-huh.
Doc a friend of yours?
Yeah, I guess you could say so, Roy.
Well, you know it's funny, ain't it, how friends sometimes get a man into trouble?
Oh? That's so.
Yeah. You plan to stay around town for long, Ponsett?
Oh, I hadn't made up my mind yet. Why?
I was just wondering if you were going to be here for the election tomorrow. You heard about the election?
I heard about it.
Well, I wasn't anxious to run for sheriff, you understand, but the old folks seemed to think it was my duty, so I had to oblige them.
Well, I wouldn't worry about it, Roy. You might not be elected.
I'll be elected.
Why, do you got the votes counted already, huh?
I'll be elected. If there ain't no outside interference.
I see.
So maybe it'd be best if you just moseyed on out without sticking around for the vote.
Well, the doc mentioned something about a rally tonight, asked me to attend.
You're not going to attend to no rally, Ponsett?
That's exactly what I told the doc.
You turned him down?
That's right.
Well, I guess I needn't have bothered you.
But now that you mention it, Cotton, I'm sort of reconsidering my decision.
What do you mean?
Well, your barging in here and ordering me around might make me sort of consider changing my mind.
Oh, now, you listen here, Ponsett. You ain't going to that rally tonight. You ain't even going to be in Virtue City after sundown.
I'm not, huh?
Well, if you are, you're just asking for me and Gus to do something about it.
Maybe I am, Cotton. Maybe I am.
Okay, Ponsett. You had your warning.
You're Roy.
Yeah?
I'm not leaving town, so if you want to do something about it, this is as good a time as any other.
Huh?
That gun you're wearing's loaded, isn't it?
Hold on. Well, sure, but...
Well, then why don't you go ahead and draw?
Well, you ain't got your six-shooter.
It's right here on the dresser.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'd be taking advantage.
It might not work out that way. Well,
I don't want to shoot up no hotel room, Ponsett.
The rent's paid in advance. All right, Cotton.
Now, look here, Ponsett. My coming up here to see you, well, it was my brother's idea. Gus thought, now, what I mean is, he said that you was to have till sundown to get out of town, and he wouldn't like it if I was to jump the gun.
Well, I guess nobody exactly welcomes the idea of being told what he can do and what he can't do. And I suppose when it comes right down to it, I'm as stubborn as the next man. So, instead of leaving town, I had supper in the hotel dining room, and afterwards, well, I sort of moseyed over in the direction of the schoolhouse. There were only 3 or 4 horses out in front, a couple of buggies. Didn't look like the Citizens Committee to keep virtue in Virtue City had drawn much of a crowd. Well, I hadn't really planned on attending the rally. I was going to walk right by and head back to the hotel. But just as I started to move past the school, I spotted Roy Cotton waiting behind a big elm tree across the street. There was another fellow with him, bigger, older. Stood to reason he was Roy's brother, Gus. And it stood to reason that if I left without going inside, they'd figured they'd bluffed me into keeping away. So, the meeting was in the combination 4th, 5th, 6th grade classroom, and Doc Cross was introducing the various candidates when I opened the door.
And as candidate for mayor, our good friend Cecil Potter. Oh, yeah. You all know Bo Spitzer, who's running for coroner. And last but far from least, the man who will be responsible for maintaining law and order, Ernie Needle, candidate for sheriff. Now, folks, I guess that's about all, so let's get... Wait a minute. Looks like we got us a visitor. Hey, sirree. Step right up here, Britt. Step right up here.
Now, wait a minute, Doc. I didn't mean to interrupt your meeting here. I was just strolling by.
You ain't interrupting, Britt. You're a godsend. Folks, listen to me now. Now, quiet down. Quiet down, will you? Now, listen. Mr. Ponsett's arrival here puts a whole new complexion on things.
What? Well, I sure don't see how
I know there ain't very many of us here tonight. And from the size of this meeting, it looks like we're fighting a hopeless battle. But we ain't. Not now. Not anymore. There's enough of us here to spread the word. We gotta see to it that by the time the polls open tomorrow, every voting citizen in Virtue City knows that the 6 shooters on our side.
Now, whoa, Doc. Now, hold on here.
Amos, you take the folks who live west of Cedar Street. Al, you take the section over by the creek. I'll cover the area along Clinton Avenue. And another thing, you tell everybody that Britt will be right there at the polls to see that the voting's done on the up and up.
Now, Doc, now you listen to me, Doc. Now, see here, Doc. Now, you just see here, Doc.
Was there something you wanted to say, Britt?
Well, Doc, you know doggone well there's something I want to say. I'm not going to have folks running all over town claiming that I'm interfering in this election. Now, you just go and call them off, Doc, and you just stop them before it's too late.
I'm afraid it's too late now, Britt. It looks to me like they're on their way. And I better get started myself. I'm going to make it over to my section before everybody's asleep.
Okay, Doc, okay. You just go right ahead, but you're going to be pretty foolish looking in the morning.
What do you mean, Britt?
I mean that I'm not taking part in your election tomorrow, no matter what you tell people.
You won't do your duty, huh?
My duty is to mind my own business.
Britt, the law says there's supposed to be one man at the polls who's unbiased, who's neutral, so to speak.
What?
Well, of course, your sympathies may sort of lie with Ernie Needle and our committee, but technically, you're nonpartisan. Seeing as how you can't even vote yourself, I mean.
How's that?
Now, look, Britt, all that I'm trying to do is to see that this election's carried off strictly according to the law. The law says we got to have us a nonpartisan president at the polls. Well, I'm not even certain that the election would be legal if you wasn't sure.
Well, I wouldn't want to stand in the way of the election being I mean, if you're certain that... if it's really necessary. But honestly, Doc, I just can't believe that...
Well, it's up to you, Britt. Entirely up to you. Well, so long.
Now, Doc. Wait a minute.
Be set up in the hotel lobby, Britt. Polls open at 7 a.m. Just let your conscience be your guide, Britt. Let your conscience be your guide. Night.
Good night.
return to James Stewart as the six-shooter in just a moment.
June 10th, 1954, The Six-Shooter on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox.
You ever make a change and then think, why didn't I do this years ago? Well, that's how people feel about switching to Medishare for their health care, especially now with inflation the way it is. People are very happy with the savings. Most families save about $500 a month when they switch. It's a huge help when prices are going up so fast in so many other areas. And Medishare's customer satisfaction rate is double that of health insurance. It's just a different experience, and people really like that. Medishare is an alternative to health insurance. It's a community of Christians who share each other's healthcare bills, and it's been going strong for over 25 years. It really is the gold standard, the most trusted name in healthcare sharing. Find out why people love it, find out why they rave about the customer service, and find out how good it feels to save some money right now. They're super easy to talk to. Here's the number, 833-34-BIBLE. That's 833-34-BIBLE, 833-34-BIBLE.
Now on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox, more of The Six-Shooter, June 10th, 1954.
Well, I just couldn't seem to get to sleep that night, and along about 5 a.m. I gave up trying. And it was just as well it did, because that was when Doc Cross showed up to take me down to breakfast. He kept saying that he wasn't trying to influence me one way or the other about being an election official, but as soon as we finished eating, he sure steered me straight toward that voting booth in the lobby. And the next thing I knew, somebody handed me a sheet of paper with a list of names on it, and people started filing up to get their ballots, and, well, the voting went off real smooth. There was just one shooting, and that turned out to be just a flesh wound. And when it finally came time to shut down the polls, just about everybody who was eligible had cast a ballot. There'd been a real good turnout, too. I didn't stick around for the counting. I figured I'd done my share, so I had some supper, and I went upstairs to my room. Oh, I sure was tired. Oh, not having any sleep the night before and having to sit around indoors all day. Well, I took my boots off, and I sort of stretched out flat on the bed for a couple minutes. I didn't intend to doze off. I was just trying to build up enough strength to go on with my undressing, but I don't know. Huh? What the Sam hell is it? Oh, yeah. Oh, is that you, Doc? Come in. Oh, what can I do for you?
We just finished counting the votes, Jeff Perkins and me. Evening, Mr. Ponsett.
Oh, howdy, Jeff. Well, how'd the election turn out?
Well, it's kind of hard to say, Britt.
Well, now, come on, Doc. Did Ernie win, or didn't he?
Well, no, Britt, no, he didn't win.
Oh.
But it could have been worse. It could have been lots worse.
I see. It was close, huh?
Oh, I wouldn't exactly call it close, Mr. Ponsett.
Uh-huh. Well, suppose you just give me the figures, huh, Doc?
Well, in the race for sheriff, we figured that was the most important contest.
Yeah?
Ernie Needle got 7 votes.
7 votes, huh? Is that all?
Yeah, that was his total. We made certain.
And Roy Coffin, he got 33.
33. Well, I'm sorry, Doc, but I guess if the people want Roy for their sheriff, they're entitled to have him.
Yes. I'd say folks are entitled to whoever they want.
Well, I have to admit, I'm kind of surprised, though. I thought Ernie'd do better than that. By the way folks were voting, I just thought that he... Now, just hold on a minute here, Doc. There's something funny here. No, you said Ernie got 7 and Roy Coffin 33.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, that's 33 and 7. That only makes 40 votes. Why, there must have been twice that many votes cast.
101, you know.
101. Well, that means there are about 60 ballots you haven't accounted for.
61, to be exact, Britt.
Yeah?
That's how many you got.
That's how many I got. That's how many who got?
Britt, it gives me great pleasure to announce that you've just been elected sheriff of Virtue City by a landslide. Congratulations.
Now, hold on here, Doc. What do you mean?
Mr. Ponsett, it's the greatest write-in campaign in the history of this here town.
Yes, sir, Britt.
What? Well, I can't believe this couldn't be true. It's just plain foolishness.
The people have spoken.
Doc Cross, if you had something to do with
it was
this...
a spontaneous movement, purely spontaneous.
Well, whatever it is, you know doggone well I won't take the job of sheriff. I don't even live here.
We just checked the Virtue City Incorporation papers. It must have been an oversight, but they don't say a word about town officials having to be residents.
Well, if you've got the idea I'm accepting this office, you're just mistaken. Even if this election is legal.
Oh, it was legal, all right. It was legal. And as of right now, you are the legally elected sheriff.
All right. Then I resign.
Yeah, I sort of thought you might feel that way, so I did a little more checking. And according to the town laws, you've got to submit your resignation in writing to the mayor, and he's got to prove it. But we don't have a new mayor yet. Not until you get sworn in.
Now, hold on a minute, Doc. It was the office of sheriff that I got elected to, remember? You told
right,
me.
Mr. Ponsett. It seems the voters kind of got in the habit of writing in your name and well,
You don't mean they elect me mayor, too?
You had a 2-to-1 majority.
Sheriff and mayor. Oy vey. From June 10th, 1954, Britt, Ponsett, Jimmy Stewart as the six-shooter on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox.
No offense, but are you a little fat when you look in the mirror? How would you like to learn the secrets to lose 3 to 5 pounds a week easily without joining the gym or going through any crazy diets? It's called Body Sculpt by Med Diet. For the last 2 decades, we've been helping people just like you that have pounds they want to shed. We've helped millions of people lose thousands and thousands of pounds over the years. And now it's your turn. Learn the secrets of how to lose weight with one simple phone call. You'll see an amazing difference in a matter of days. Don't believe us? We'll offer you a money-back guarantee. If you're ready to start losing weight right now, call right now to learn more about your risk-free order to Body Sculpt.
Call for your risk-free offer. 800-738-5332. 800-738-5332. 800-738-5332. That's 800-738-5332.
Are you in bad pain? You know what I mean. Your knees hurt. Your shoulder hurts. Your elbow and back are constantly killing you. And I'm sure you've tried every pain pill or cream available at the drugstore. Am I right? Well, here's something you haven't tried. Pain Magic. Pain Magic is not available at any drugstore. The only place you can get it is by calling the special toll-free number I'm about to give you.
And to make things even better, call right now and find out about our buy one, get one free offer. We're so confident it'll work for you that we offer a free bottle with your purchase. No prescription required.
Call now to learn how you can get Pain Magic and get rid of your pain. Remember, your results may vary.
800-492-8164. 800-492-8164. 800-492-8164. That's 800-492-8164.
Classic Radio Theater on your favorite station. So Britt Ponsett has gone and gotten himself elected not only sheriff, but mayor. But June 10th, 1954.
You don't mean what?
Yep. You didn't do so good for coroner, though. Bogue Spicer beat you out by 4 votes.
But don't feel too bad about it, Britt. Bogue's a real popular man.
Well, I just don't know what to say. Well, this is the most outlandish thing I've ever heard of.
It is mighty unusual. I'll agree with you there.
Unusual? It's ridiculous. Well, I can tell you I've got no more intention of being mayor than I have of being sheriff.
I don't blame you, Britt. Britt, I don't blame you. About the mayor part, that is. As a matter of fact, you couldn't hold both jobs if you wanted to. There's a town ordinance against it.
I don't care if the... What'd you say?
Yes, sir. One man can't hold both jobs.
Well, that's something.
But like I said, your resigning the sheriff position is kind of complicated, you see. Not only have we got the problem of who's going to accept the resignation...
I'm the mayor. I'll accept it myself.
Well, even so, according to our statutes, when the sheriff resigns or retires, the job goes to the man who got the second highest number of votes.
Oh, Oh, you mean Roy Coffin would take over my place?
That's the gist of it, Mr. Ponsett.
Uh-huh.
So you see the spot you'll be putting us in, Britt.
Besides, Mr. Ponsett, the people elected you, and they're entitled to have you. You said so yourself.
When I said that, I didn't have any idea that this... Oh, now, look here. There's got to be some way out of this situation. Ernie Needle's the man this town needs for sheriff, and he ought to have the job. Isn't that what you wanted?
Well, maybe so, but... Well, I just don't see how we can work it out so he gets it. Oh, well, it's getting late. I guess you'll need your sleep. Probably have a big day tomorrow, what with all the swearing-in ceremony.
Now, don't run off, Doc. Now, this isn't settled yet.
Oh, like as not, things will settle themselves. They usually do.
Good night, Mr. Ponsett.
By the way, Britt, I'll just leave your star here on the dresser. There's a little rust on the point where the plating's wore off, but good polishing will take care of it.
Well, that was the second night in a row I didn't get much sleep. First thing in the morning, as soon as I figured it was time for the town hall to open, I headed down there and I did a little hunting through the legal code myself. And it was all true what Doc Cross had told me. If I gave up the job of sheriff, Roy Cotton would be next in line for it. Well, about 9 o'clock, a delegation headed by Doc Cross came in to make the preparations for the swearing-in ceremony. And I told them that the ceremonies just have to be postponed until I had a talk with the Cotton brothers. They were living in the old Peterson place on Flower Street.
You've got your nerve coming around here, Ponsett. If you figure on making a name for yourself as sheriff by arresting us, you better do some more figuring.
Arresting you? You mean you boys have done something illegal?
No, he never said that.
Well, putting you under arrest was the farthest thing from my mind. Of course, if you think I should.
And just what is it you do want, Ponsett?
Well, the fact of the matter is, it's my understanding that Roy here would inherit the sheriff's job if anything happened that I wasn't able to go on.
That's right, Ponsett. And like as not, something will happen, too.
Uh-huh. Well, I was just thinking that under those circumstances, it might be a good idea for Roy to get all the experience he can while I'm around to show him the ropes.
You want me to work with you?
Well, I don't see why not. Come to think of it, I could use you both as deputies.
Deputies?
Yeah. Yeah, that'll save me getting the whole big posse together. I think the three of us ought to be able to handle the McGinnis gang.
McGinnis?
Tracer McGinnis. You heard about him, haven't you? Oh, that's right. You all used to be sort of friendly, didn't you? Before you had that falling out with him, that is.
Gus?
You don't mean Tracer McGinnis is heading this way?
No, it's probably just another false rumor, but it's probably not a word of truth to it.
Yeah, but why'd he be coming in here, Gus? Unless he's after us again.
Yeah.
Well, now, if you fellows would just hold up your hands, I'll give you the oath.
No, wait a minute, Ponsett. Maybe it'd be better if you was to take out more of a posse.
Oh, now, Gus, like as not, Tracer won't be bringing his whole gang, maybe only 10 or 12 of them. All right, now, boys, you hold up your hands.
I ain't going to mix it up with Tracer McGinnis, Ponsett. I had enough of him already.
But, Roy...
The kid's right for once.
Well, I'm afraid you fellas don't quite understand. Now, according to the ordinance passed 2 years ago come November, if any man refuses to take part in a duly constituted posse, he forfeits all right to hold office in the town of Virtue City from that time on. That'd mean that you couldn't be sheriff, Roy.
Gus.
I don't figure that's going to make much difference, Ponsett. You see, we don't aim to stay around Virtue City anyhow.
Yeah, that's right. We were sort of planning to leave town today, weren't we, Gus?
Yeah, we were just doing our packing when you come in.
Well, maybe we ought not to wait to pack, Gus. Them McGinnis boys ride fast when they're on the move.
They sure do. Come on.
Oh, I wouldn't hurry myself too much, boys. If you ask me, I think you'll have plenty of time to finish packing before they get here. Plenty of time. Well, as things worked out, they needn't have heard it all. As far as I know, Tracer McGinnis never did show up in Virtue City. Of course, Ernie Needle became sheriff that very same day, right after I resigned. And I guess he hasn't had too much trouble keeping folks in line. You see, the Cotton brothers haven't been heard of since they beat it out of town. It just goes to show you, a person really shouldn't believe in rumors. It's funny the way they get started, isn't it?
The Six-Shooter is a transcribed NBC Radio Network production in association with Review Productions. It is written by Frank Britt and is based on a character created by him. Mr. Stewart may currently be seen in the Universal International picture The Glenn Miller Story. Others in the cast were Carlton Young, Dal McKennon, Paul Richards, Frank Gerstle, and Junius Matthews. Special music for this program was by Basil Adlam, and the entire production is under the direction of Jack Johnstone. All characters and incidents were fictitious, and any resemblance to actual characters or incidents is purely coincidental. This is John Wald speaking.
June 10th, 1954, The Six-Shooter on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox.
Are you suffering with arthritis or osteoporosis? Do you have diabetes? Did you know that these are just two of the hundreds of diseases that have seen improvement with Dr. Wallach's incredible longevity products? You can't get them at a health food store. The only way to get them is to call us at 800-214-0065. That's 800-214-0065. Do you have heart disease, fibromyalgia, or high blood pressure? Do you have a terrible time losing weight? Dr. Wallach can help. He was a veterinarian and cured diseases in animals. He felt that he could do the same for humans, so he became a physician. Over 50 years of research and helping people like you goes into every bottle of Dr. Wallach's amazing discoveries. Do you want to feel better? Learn how to treat the cause of your problem rather than covering up the symptoms with drugs. Call 800-214-0065. That's 800-214-0065.
Now on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox, let's head to Pine Ridge, Arkansas, in an episode of Lum-n-Abner. This goes back to June 10th of 1948.
And now let's see what's going on down in Pine Ridge. Well, the Edwards and Peabody Circus opened at the county seat yesterday, and today they're scheduled to play Cherry Hill. As we look in on the little community today, we find Lum in the Jot 'em Down store talking to Ben Withers. Listen.
Well, no, Ben, we ain't staying here. We're just going through town on our way to Cherry Hill. We won't be in Pine Ridge more than an hour or so.
Fine.
Squire wanted to stop off at his office and tie up some loose ends or something like that, he said. Abner's gone over to his place to break the news to Elizabeth that we're going to be on the road with the circus for a few weeks, or months, or maybe years, I don't know. We might get to be another Ringling Brothers.
You and Abner?
Yeah.
I didn't even know you and Abner were related.
Well, what I mean is if...
Yes. The circus is going to play in Cherry Hill, you say?
Yeah, the trucks has went on ahead, and they're more than likely setting up the tent and all right now, and then the next day we move on to Mount Ida.
Oh, I wish I could be with you there. See all my old friends.
Yeah, that would be nice. Why don't you come along, Ben? You'd enjoy seeing the show. We got the most wonderfulest bareback riding act you've ever saw in your whole life. Zenora's her name.
Oh, I'm afraid I couldn't get away, Lum. My police duties tie me down quite highly here, you know.
She jumps from one of them horses to the other in a dead run. Round and round that ring, you just wouldn't believe it.
Fine.
And she'll stand up on their back on one toe. Oh, it's the beatin'est thing in the world, Ben.
Some days my police duties are lighter than others, but I don't know.
She'll jump down off the horse and cut across the ring and hop right back up there again. You just ought to see it.
Right back on the same horse?
Well, yeah, sure.
I don't see what she'd gain by that.
Well, you see...
Seems to me that if she'd stayed right on the horse, she'd have wound up at the same place.
Well, Ben, she was just doing tricks. You know, like they always do in circuses.
Oh, this was something you saw in a circus?
Well, natural, in our circus.
Fine. Must have been quite spectacular. Who was it who did this?
The little lady I was telling you about, Zenora, Granny's.
Zenora Grandy's?
No, just Zenora. I don't know if she's got a last name even. It's a foreign name, I think.
Yes, I thought so. That Grandy's sounds Spanish.
No, that ain't part of her name.
Yes.
Besides, she said she was a Egyptian, I think. Her mama and papa is kings over there, I believe, wherever it's at.
Well, if she's a member of royalty, isn't it a little strange that they'd permit her to travel around with a circus?
Well, she told me she never had to do this for a living. She just loved the circus life so well.
Lots of Spanish people do, I believe.
She's an Egyptian.
Fine. And you say she comes from Cherry Hill?
No, I said that's where the circus is going to play today.
Oh, yes, that'll be nice.
And then tomorrow we play Mount Ida.
Mount Ida?
Yeah, and then Well, I ain't sure, but we'll more than likely play Odin and Ink and Sims and Posey Holler and Octavia and Board Camp and all them big places.
Lum, would you like to have me give you a list of people to look up when you get to Mount 80?
Well, I'm feared I won't have time to look nobody up, Ben. Busy's we're going to be.
Yes. Well, now there's Ed Stoddard, Mabel Frawley's brother-in-law. I don't think you'd care much for Ed.
Well, I won't have time to see him, no way.
You might say hello to Ed and let it go at that. Of course, you've got to drop in on the Zinkelfuses while you're there.
Well, Ben, I don't...
Clarence Zinkelfus will never speak to you again as long as you live if you don't go over to his place and meet him.
Yeah, well, like
Whoa,
I said...
Get Mrs. Zinkelfus to boil you a pot of stew. Just tell her that old Ben Withers sent you over there to get a dish of the famous Zinkelfus stew.
Well, Ben, we eat right there on the circus grounds. Carry a grub wagon right along with us.
Fine. Oh, I know. You'll certainly want to drop in on Flieger Hornsby. He's in the pumpkin game. Flieger will fix you up with all the pumpkins you can carry away from there.
Yeah, well, that's nice of Flieger, but...
They're green now, but you'll like Flieger. He's about 49 years of age.
Well, there comes Abner down the road. Looks like we're about ready to take off, Ben. Sure been good seeing you again.
Well, wait, I haven't got any of these names written down for you, Lum. Aren't you afraid you might forget them?
Well, if I'm lucky, I might.
Be sure to drop in on Captain Sprugg and see the flat-bottom canoe he invented.
Oh, I can't hardly wait to see that.
Well, are we all ready to go, Lum?
Yeah, just quick as Squire gets here.
Oh, well, howdy, Ben. Fine, thank you. You're just in time, Abner. Lum was asking me for a list of people to look up in Mount 80. Anybody you want to add to the list, Abner?
No, I don't think so, Ben.
Harold Burgess?
Huh?
Yes, I think that's a good suggestion. You can listen to Harold play the drums. He's worked out 2 or 3 pieces now.
Well,
and he's only 27, you know.
Abner, turn around here. Let me look at you.
Huh?
What's the matter with that hat? Looks way yonder too big for you.
Oh, yeah, I know it is. Elizabeth insisted on giving me a haircut before I left town. Just bound and determined to do it.
Well, you never needed no haircut.
I tried to tell her that, but I don't know, Lum. She just got the feeling kind of romantic, you know, me leaving and all.
Your ears are going to get a little tired holding that hat up, aren't they, Abner?
Yeah, they're a little sore already.
Better take your hat off and rest them.
Yeah, maybe I better. Yeah, all right. Feels better, all right.
Oh, for goodness sake, look at that head. Well, she might not peeled you, Abner.
Yeah, I know it, Lum. She got to crying about me going with the circus and couldn't half see what she's doing. Mightn't I cut it all off?
For pity's sake.
You give the impression of a picked goose, Abner.
Yeah, I know, Ben. She couldn't find the scissors and used the garden snippers on me. It was awful sad. Her standing there cutting and crying and cutting away on me.
It must have been sad, all right.
Oh, it was.
Catching.
Yes, it was.
Oh, I know. Del Plebo.
Del who?
Del Plebo. You'll certainly want to look Dill up. How'd I ever forget him? Love, when you see Dill, get him to teach you how to count up to 7 in Sioux Indian.
Well, now, look,
Dill's the one that does that, you know. And, oh, can he rattle it all. Washa, Nopa,
Ben.
Zamani, Topa,
Ben.
Zepta, Shaki.
Look, Ben.
Shahadogan.
Ben, let's not go through all that again, please.
Right. You'll catch on to it quickly with Dill teaching you.
Yeah, that's fine, but...
He gets the right inflection to each word.
I'm sure he does, but
Washa, Nopa, Zamani,
Oh, me.
Topa.
Well, come on, man. We
Zepta.
better hit the road.
Oh, yeah, I'm glad you got here, Squire.
Knows the Sioux Indian language like he knows his own mother.
What did you say, Ben?
Fight.
Yes.
Did you get all them loose ends tied up over at your office, Squire?
Yes, Lum, everything's pretty good shape, I think. I think now if I can manage to get back here about once a week, I can take care of my current desk work all right. What about the store here? Is Grandpappy Spears going to run it for you?
Yeah, we made a deal with him. Got Gomer Bates to make the delivers, so that ought to work out pretty good. We oughtn't to lose too much money that way.
So, speaking of money, Lum, do you know anything about a bill from the Ludlow Electric Shop in Little Rock?
Huh?
I got a call from him just now wanting me to confirm an order from our circus for a big electric sign spelling out the name Zenora.
Sounds like a good idea, Squire. Yeah, good for you.
Well, now, wait a minute. I didn't put in the order. And Zenora doesn't have any authority to do a thing like that, so who could it have been?
Yes, who could it have been?
Well, I never done it. This is the first I knowed about it.
Well, Come to think of it, I believe I put in that order, seems like.
You believe you did? I don't see how you can be so uncertain over something that costs $500. $500?
Oh, my star.
Well, Squire, you said yourself that Sonora was practical the star of the whole circus, the head lunar, or liner, whatever it was.
Well, yes.
You said we needed her act to make a success out of the show. Said she was the main drawing card.
Yes, but Lum, $500, Great Boulder Farm, man. We can't afford anything like that. You ought to know better than that. What's got into you anyway, Lum?
Well, you see, Squire...
Did Sonora get you to do that, Lum?
No, of course not. It was my idea, I think.
She just kind of hinted around, huh?
No, she never. She hardly even talked about it after she brought it up. Or that is, after I... Anyway, the only way we're going to make a big success out of this is to put money in it. Dress it up. Just wait till you see that sign, then you'll change your minds about it.
Well, we're not going to see the sign, Lum.
Huh?
Needless to say, I canceled the order. Told them we wouldn't accept the bill.
Well, here now, Squire. Looks to me like you're pretty presumptuous there. Don't forget I'm the owner of this outfit.
Half owner.
All right, half owner.
I fully recognize that, Lum. But you appointed me manager of the circus, so it's my duty to see that we make a profit. And we'll never do it if you go around pulling fool stunts like that.
Fool stunts, huh?
You see, well, here, now, wait a minute, Lum. Where are you going now?
Fine way to run a circus. Get a head lunar act and treat her like she was a dog.
Well, now, listen, Lum, No, me.
Seems upset over something.
Abner, we've got to do something about this situation.
Huh?
If we don't watch that Lum pretty carefully, he's going to spend every cent we take in on that bareback rider. Abner, he's going to bankrupt this circus as sure as the world.
Well, is Lum's infatuation for Sonora as serious a threat to the circus as Squire thinks it is? After all, Washanopa zepped $100 is a lot of money to pay for an electric sign. Ugh.
Oh my, sounds like, as the kids would say today, Lum's got himself a crush. And this young lady has figured out just how to wheedle this crush, don't you know? June 10th, 1948, Lum-n-Abner here on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Your name, sir?
This is Groucho Marx. A few days ago, I was talking with the Director of Civil Defense, and he told me some things that I feel everyone should know. That's why I'm speaking to you now. Did you know, for example, that your chances of surviving an atom bomb attack are excellent? It's true, but there's a big if. You must do everything possible now to help yourself and your family. Nobody else will help you. Listen, because this is important. Keep a complete first aid kit handy. Keep a closed container of drinking water in your refrigerator, enough for 3 days. Be sure you have a good fire extinguisher. Take a look around your house right now and pick out the safest spot, away from windows and doors. Make sure that every member of your family understands he is to rush to that safe spot when there's danger. I'm convinced that these precautions are necessary right now, and I hope I can convince you. They're important to your family, yourself, and your community.
Probably the most serious you'll ever hear Groucho Marx say anything. Thank you so much for tuning in and joining us here on Classic Radio Theater on your favorite station. Would you do me a favor and please thank this radio station and support your advertisers? It is their kindness and courtesy that allows us to stay here on your favorite station. It is greatly appreciated. I want you to know that. Also, if you miss a day on this station, you don't have to miss a single show. I produce 21 hours a week of great classic radio programming, and you don't have to miss a minute of it. You can find them online at Spotify, at Spreaker, Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, Amazon, other places. Just search for Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. That's Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Or you can also find them at my webpage, which is classicradio.stream. Stream our shows on demand. You can learn about classic radio collecting. You can contact me there. You can find our social media links. And you can also tip me if you want. Buy me. What is it? It's the website that it takes you to when you click on the link is Buy Me a Coffee. And I don't drink coffee, but if you send me a tip, I'll buy me another 2-liter of Dr. Pepper, which is just as good to me. Anyway, that's classicradio.stream. Thanks for tuning in. Tell all your friends the great radio shows are right here at this spot on the dial. Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox on your favorite radio station.